YouTubers, Knife Detector here. So I thought I'd make a quickie video on the subject of cleaning your newfound flea market knife or garage sale knife or a knife that was given to you, and go through the process that I do whenever I find a knife or I purchase a knife at a flea market or a garage sale or a place like that, or even on eBay or Etsy. Because the truth of the matter is, guys, you don't know the history of this knife. You don't know if somebody found it at the bottom of a river and it's got all kinds of algae deposits in it. I have gotten some knives and knife lots, and I have bought some knives that look like somebody retrieved it with a metal detector or with a magnet from the bottom of a sewer. I have gotten some terrible knives, and I've cleaned them in the hopes that they're going to be usable once again. And you don't know what kind of germs these knives have, guys. You could be talking about hepatitis. You could be talking about other communicable diseases and germs that are in these knives. And plus, to top it off, it's a sharp object that you might cut yourself with and expose your blood to. So you really need to be cautious with these knives, right? So I'm going to just go over the process of what I do when I get a knife. I know that there are several different ways to do this, just like there are many different ways to skin a cat. Just kidding. I love my kitties. I love cats. But I want to just really clarify that this is what I do. It doesn't have to be what you do. You might have a better way of doing it, and that's good. But this is what's worked for me, and I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you guys want to use this method or take some ideas from here, right? I might do something that you've never done, or maybe I'll do something that you've done all along and you've wondered, am I the only one that does this? Well, here you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. The first thing that I would do when I get a new knife or a knife that is new to me is examine it. And here we have one that I've already done a little bit of cleaning on. It's got some rust, and you want to be very careful when you handle the blades because you don't know how sharp they are at first till you first look at it. It could be really super sharp, and you just don't know yet. So the first thing I do before I do anything else is I grab a Clorox wipe. Know what you're going to say. Clorox wipes have alcohol. Alcohol might damage the finish of your blade or the wood, the handle, but first thing I want to do is carefully go over everything with a Clorox wipe, guys. I'm going to tell you why. These Clorox wipes are really good to disinfect. They're really good to disinfect all of the blades, all of the handle material, everything there. I know you're worried about corrosion, but we're going to get to that in a second. Clean as much as I can, very carefully, clean away from the blade, not to cut yourself. Every part of the knife that you can cover, I'd go ahead and go over it with a Clorox wipe. Okay, that's the first step. Second thing is you want to have some soapy water handy. Got my Luckenbach cup right here. Want to have some soapy water handy. I'm just using some regular hand soap for now, but the best thing probably would be some dishwasher soap like Dawn or Palmolive that can get those abrasions out. Next thing you know, you want to give this thing a good going over with that. Okay, careful not to cut yourself. So I want to get in there into all the nooks and crannies, and just soap and water. Get it in there as nice and clean as you can. And this is a Dollar General brush, guys, that I got as part of a packet in Dollar General. I think it cost me $1. They also had a wire brush that went with this. But if you don't have this, a toothbrush can work really well too. So you can see there's a lot of rust in there. This is a very old knife, in case you're wondering what brand this is. The brand of this knife, I do not know because it is so old, it's worn out. All it says is the USA. So I don't know if this is a Cattleman or if this is a Cattaraugus or if this is a Camillus. I don't know because it's just so worn out. But I got this as part of a knife lot and it works really well. I've already done some cleaning on this. It still has some rust, but I wanted to show that to you guys. Okay, so now that you've got it all nice and soapy, and now that you've gone ahead and you've cleaned out as much as you can, you can go ahead and continue scrubbing some more if you want to. But you have that rust there, There are some ways to get rid of that if you want. One of the things that I do is I take some 2000 grit sandpaper. And this is just some old sandpaper that I've used probably several times before, 2000 grit, and then I fold it into a square. See? One thing that I do is I take that sandpaper and then I just rub it in there real good as much as I can. And I'm not going to do it all for the sake of this video. Oh, check it out. I have managed to cut myself yet again. Be careful, guys. I may have to buy some steel gloves, I'm telling you right now. But you want to rub that in there as best as you can. And you want to go ahead and try and get all that rust out as best as you can. Dirt and Rust is going to get a laugh at this because he thought that the last time I did it is when I closed the knife. And I think I did it again just now when I closed the knife because this knife has really good snap. So you want to just move that in there like that. Now, I'm not going to clean it for the entire video, but you get the idea. And I just work that in there as best as I can. Now, another technique you can do is you can use this Kleenex in here. And you can use that Kleenex to get in there real deep in those grooves. Just like so. Clean that as best as you can. Really glad I used that Clorox wipe now, I'll tell you what. And you're going to get all that gook and grime out of there. As much as you can. Wipe it off. And this could take you an hour depending on how dirty this knife is, guys. You know. And I'm sure I loosened some of it up with the 2000 grit sandpaper. You might even want to go 1000 or 1500. You keep working that out. Now, another thing that I do is, let's say, for example, you can't get that Q-tip in that groove there. I'll go ahead and I take the cotton off as best as I can. And then I go ahead and flatten that edge. Just take the cotton off that you used. Then I would get that edge good and flat with some pliers. In this case, I'm using my Swiss Army Craftsman knife that I just made a video on, using the pliers on that. And I just flatten that edge real good. And flattening that edge real good and that Q-tip enables you to get it inside those grooves that are in there. So now you turn it, it's flatter, and you can really dig into those grooves because it fits in those grooves much better now that you flatten that edge. Pardon my blood there. Okay, so it's a little cleaner. If you want to continue this process, you can. You could bring in the big gun and get a wire brush, a little wire brush. That set I got from Dollar General has this same type of pattern, but with wire brush. And you can get in there like that too if you want to. So this is what I do whenever I get a new knife. And the reason I do it, again, is because you don't know where this knife's been. You know, this knife may have had a terrible history. Heck, it might have even used to stab somebody or somebody who cut themselves several times like I have. The other thing is, you know, once you do all of this, you use the soapy water to wash off that alcohol. Another thing you may want to do is get a little bit of vegetable oil. And even though I'm not done cleaning this knife, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do this just so you can see. Get a little bit of vegetable oil. And what you're going to do is you're going to just go over the joints in the knife as good as you can, as well as you can. All the joints, all over it. Maybe when you're done, give it a light coat. This knife still has a lot of cleaning to happen. As you can tell by the Q-tip, it gets some vegetable oil and rub it in there so that when you're done, you can go ahead and close it, and that vegetable oil, sorry about that, will help fight corrosion. Okay, so you want to go ahead and once you're done with all of that, carefully close it. It's that closing that gets you most of the time, and this is an old knife and still got some good snap in there and some sharp blades. So, you know, that's what I do. And I just wanted to go ahead and share with you guys my techniques for doing that. Like I said, there are many ways to do this, but these are mine. And that knife still needs some more cleaning, but that's going to make for a longer video. But that's the process. So it's going to be wipe and then rinse with soapy water and then use the Q-tip at your leisure. And if it's really stubborn, it's got some rust in there or who knows what, you might want to get in there with this You can use a different type of grit if you want, or a wire brush, which I didn't bring with me. And then, of course, always be careful for the dreaded closing of the knife, because you might cut yourself again like I just did. But